Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're taking a look at Ateez's Hala Hala. This is a live performance from 2022 near the tail end of it. So this one I would deem as a more recent take of them taking on this choreography compared to my original analysis I did of them. I believe it was that 2019 era, pre-2020. And out of all of the Ateez discography that has been encountered on YouTube at this point in time, Hala Hala has received the most specific request that I think I've ever really gotten. I've gotten it from at least two people on two different, not two different videos, but at two different times. And it was very interesting for me. They asked if I could take a look at this one and compare the differences, or do I think that they improved? Are there still some chronic things that we see? This is a performance shift because of the amount of time that has passed. And I've never really thought about doing that until today. So I think this is really fun to actually take a look at, see, did they improve? And also note too, right before I started recording this video, I did take a look at the original Hala Hala dance practice. I have already seen the music video at this point, so I know what it looks like with the hats and everything. So without further ado, I think we just need to take a look at it, get a reaction, see what it is, and then kind of just glean through it. Maybe in depth, maybe briefly, just kind of depends, and see have we seen some improvement from their movement quality as a group. So let's go ahead and check it out. That was Wu Yang and Sunghwa. And that's Hongjun. San's on stage left. Jongho. There's San. You see how beautiful his technique is there? There's Yoonho. Where's Waldo? Where's Yoonho? Right there. They do need to be more mindful of those arms there. Notice San was the only one that actually dropped in that part. Okay. Is that your song right there? Think so? Yeah? Look at me. I'm able to name call way easier now than the last time I watched this routine. Mingi. Out of everybody, he's taking the most modified movement out of them all. God, his tone is so stable. I love it. Just go to the concert to listen to Jongho, man. There's just some beauty behind just his tone. Very stable. There's a really interesting thing that has happened twice now between Mingi and his mirror. I think it's Sunghwa. And they're doing the same move two completely different ways, and it is hilarious. And neither were the version that was in the dance practice. Oh man. Oh man. Dance break, let's go. I've heard San. Man, okay. Here we go. We gotta go back. Now, do I think this was cleaner? No, I don't. In terms, I think energy energy is cleaner, but the actual content is not as clean, actually. But for me, though, let me just say this. Whenever I've seen their B-sides, especially, or when they perform live, I look at them differently than whenever I look at their dance practices for a very specific reason. When you look at the dance practice, yes, they do practice singing, or they practice how they would need to be performing when they are on stage. Yes, I know that. But the choreography is more the focal point of the dance practice than the vocals are. Do you know what I mean? So the mindset is different, and how we look at it is also different. Here, the vocals are just as important as the dancing is, as is the lighting, as is making sure everyone's where they need to be. That kind of stuff, and their costuming, that kind of stuff matters a lot more. So it makes sense why would I dog them on their choreo or their ability to do the choreography when their vocals are so stable. You know what I mean? Like, some groups choose to compromise vocals for the sake of movement, and other groups choose vocals over movement. And I think both are fine. So, but I mean, going from the top, we'll kind of just glean through it. Is this the best live we could ever find? No. But remember, though, this is just a random full cam live of them doing Hala Hala. So there's probably a better version out there, but what was asked was not look at this very specific video. It was asked, look at a more recent version of Ateez doing Hala Hala. And I want to hear your thoughts. That's what I got, and this is what we're getting. So I like the beginning. They said it very well. Very clear what we're able to see here. I like that. And it actually reminds me with Yeolsang. I did make a note about Hala Hala, with Yeolsang being the outlier in the choreo. And I think I made a note about why is the formation set up that way. There was something I caught whenever I watched the initial dance practice. He was the only one that he was the only one facing them. There was a moment where there was an opposition that took place. It was like 1 or 2 moves, but it was enough for me to catch the second time I watched it, which was right before recording this. So I think that in general, like, I understand there was a reason why Yeolsang was an outlier. That's really more so, I was just more so just curious about that, because this is another note too. When it comes to choreography, there is, to a certain degree, you want it to make enough sense that you don't have to have the music video for it to make sense. Do you know what I mean? Because if that's the case, then don't have a dance practice. You know what I mean? Like, because when you think about it, when they're in concert, they're not going to have the music video to look at. They may have seen it, a lot of people who go to the concerts, but some people, they've never really seen a music video. They're just coming, it's their first time, and they're like, oh, cool, they're in town, whatever. So whenever you showcase choreography, the choreography needs to be able to hold its own. I actually use that example whenever I have certain costume pieces or certain ideas that are happening within choreography, like, that are outliers, meaning like I've used paint one year, I've used lights that light up on a costume before, but I've had to choreograph it to where even if the paint didn't work and the lighting didn't work, the dance could still compete well. That's the mindset that I'm coming at it from. So some people may not agree with me. That is absolutely okay. That's just that's my background and that's my scope. You want your choreography to stand on its own. In this case, it does, but that was the one little instance I just wanted more clarification on, because the context wasn't clear enough for me to understand it. Does that make sense? But I understand it in the lore. I get it. Now, from here, seeing them have their moments, they're more refined as a group. That's the big kicker that's cleaner here. And that's what I was expecting, and that's what I've noticed. They are one of the few groups that can present energy and stability from dance practices into the stage. The difference here that is not transitioned over is that puppy energy of explosion of power that we were seeing from the dance practice. And that's something that I'm glad stayed in the dance practice, because here it looks like they understand how to control their energy more. And that's what you want when you're trying to do a 3-hour concert. Look at the tension there. Everybody's committing in the same way, even Mingi there. He really starts to stick out in a very specific way in the chorus, and I'm going to stop it because they did it twice. And it was really funny every time I saw it. As they hit boom, 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 like that. That was nice. Bringing it down. You can tell Wasan his full commitment in the back. You do love that. So I do know there have been some shorts that have talked about, you know, they've been more refined. They know how to get to the ground and get up. That's going to be successful for the placement of the track in the set that they're doing. Like, you have to factor in there's so many components. This isn't the only thing they're doing. This is one of like probably 15 songs they're doing. I don't know. That part is sick. Do you see San? Like, you see, he doesn't have to use his whole body to justify the ticking. He's able to do it with his arm, no problem. That shows fluency much more. Like, that's one of the biggest indicators of he knows what the freak he's doing a lot more now than he did back then. Yes. So I'm very impressed with that for sure. I mean, you saw me. I was like, yeah, that was great right there. Yeah, so that part was honestly fine though in the original dance practice. It just looked like everyone's on the same page a lot more here. That was much better. I think the first time they did this though, some of them are choosing to use their arms more than their shoulders. That would just be a very simple, what are we using? That doesn't take away from the choreography, or it doesn't take away from the energy needed to sing. So that kind of clarification. So that's, I want to make that clear. Now they're them having this moment. Okay, are you ready for this? Can you please watch Mingi and please watch Seonghwa? This is about to get very interesting. Did you see how isolated this looked from Seonghwa and how nothing was happening with Mingi both times they did it? Does it bother me? I don't really care, honestly, at this point, because when you look at it, it's like little things like that are not going to be the reason why somebody doesn't want to go back to their concert. Do you know what I'm talking about? So it's, for me, it's like a pick your battle kind of thing. Would I be like, hey, maybe we need to make a different choice there for Mingi? Maybe at least you move your arms to a certain degree would be great. But he doesn't move like anything except his lower half. It's very isolated in comparison to Seonghwa, who overshoots the rotation. He hits it and he's having this little moment. The reason why I caught that is because I remember that's one of the very few things that made this routine the messiest, was getting this rotation right. And we still don't have it. But is that something, is that a hill that I'm like, fight me on? I don't care. You know, like, I really think for something like that, when they're performing on stage, it's been like 4 years now, right? For almost 5 years. It's really not a big deal at the end of the day. I think there's bigger fish to fry than making sure they have the right rotation for Hala Hala, you know. And somebody did say in the comments, and I do want to mention this, somebody said in the comments on that Hala Hala video that maybe that would be different if they had hats on. For me, I'm like, yes, I can agree. It was cleaner in their music video, but also you have to go with what you're prepared for. That should still be clean, and that should have still been talked about, regardless if they had a hat on or didn't. So, and we're proving that right here. So, but once again, am I like that upset about it? No, I've already seen the progress. I've already seen it. This is better in terms of movement quality, but some of the still outlier choreographic discrepancies are still there. They're just more together when those mistakes happen, if that makes sense. They're just way more clear. Bring it in. They're definitely much more on an even, like they know how to back off when appropriate. And I appreciate that. And it did look like San was the only one who dropped there. I think somebody else, was it Yoonho that was supposed to drop with him? Who was it? I don't know. I don't know who was supposed to drop with him. It looked fine, but I appreciate the fact that he's still committed to dropping that, because that's still pretty tricky to do. That right there was nice, but then once again, Mingi, I think my note in general, like, it could... Jungho's able to do it, so Mingi can do it, I think is my point. Because you can't blame the handheld mic for that, because Jungho's also got it. He's able to do the rotation of the shoulder. Mingi should be able to as well. That's my general note that I would give to Mingi. I think he's too restrictive in this choreo. But once again, do I care? No, it's a concert. It's one of 15 tracks. This is somebody's favorite. It's a lot of people's favorite. So they're going to care about the fact that they get to see it live, not whether or not Mingi went full out. Like, you know what I mean? Honestly. This energy, this was really cool seeing this lead in. This was nice. The integrity of the formation still look really good. I like me kind of vibing in the back. That's cool. It does feel more rehearsed. It just does, you know. And obviously I know that, but it feels like everybody's much more intentional about the choices that they're making. When they make modifications, it doesn't take away from everything. The only time I've actually seen it be taking away is Mingy. But once again, not a huge deal to me personally. Notice some of them are choosing to go with the hand versus the body. That's still a really great choice because you still maintain the dynamics, but showcase individuality. That's something that they unlocked in 2021 for sure. That's like that era of Deja Vu Gorilla and that Kingdom franchise that they were in, because I saw Wonderland in that. That was the era where they got it together in terms of synchronicity or figuring out how to be more in sync with each other. I think it's because of how they chose to rehearse in that. Because Crazy Form is a great example of seeing that being very clean. This is another, you know, this part feels that part felt a little bit more refined in that little section there. There it is again. They're in the same place. It's really funny. Now I wonder if there's other fan cams where we see that exact same situation. And that's just what they do. Yeah. One of them skipping out on the dip. San is not. So I wonder if that's just they're just choosing not to. That's fine. Dancers are doing a good job not going too full to overshadow Ateez, but they're vibing right where Ateez is vibing, and I like that. People really don't understand how much physical demand it is to perform for this long. It is really, really hard. Not a lot of people can do it. Like, being a professional dancer on tour is so different than being a professional dancer on a job. Like an independent kind of job. It's different. It's more like it's your lifestyle. That's what you do now, you know? So, but your body, though, yes, it does physically demanding, but your body can become conditioned to handle this. It has to, you know what I mean? Especially for the performers like Ateez. Now, will they be able to do this forever? They don't need to, you know? Meaning, like, they never stop touring. Like, we need to stop touring at some point, in which, of course, everybody does. Even Swift, even Taylor Swift. She had to stop touring at some point. Good. During this part, we're just having a moment. Everyone is having their moment, enjoying it, vibing it out. Here's the dance break. So many people, I think this was the dance break, they said that San always breaks his mic. I don't know if he broke his mic here, but we'll see. Hitting it through because he goes for it. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me look at the dance break one more time. Just for giggles. Maybe it's because it's a bit muddled here. I know some people have their own little vocal moments throughout it. It's just a bit muddled, being honest. And let's also call it what it is. Good chance everybody's just watching San in this because of what he's known for in this section. Drops down. And we get to have our moment right there. Super cool, super fun. I mean, this was very impressive, the fact that they're able to do this live, even just doing the dance in general. Like Gorilla, like I see it, the tinkering right here. Gorilla, doing the chorus alone is so physically demanding if you're not used to being trained in that energy. Bro, you know, so we gotta give the guys some flowers. They really do. Like, this is definitely significantly better. But a lot of things that I touched on in the analysis are still happening here. They just look different, you know. But also we have to keep in mind, does it matter in the performance live? No, it doesn't. Because it's not just about the dancing. If it was only about the dancing, yes, then we can care about it, but it's not. It's about them being physically there with their fan. It's them singing live. I think they care about singing live and performing like it's somebody's first or last time that they're going to be at that concert. I think they care about that more than making sure their hand's in the right place. And I don't mind that level of prioritization. I kind of prefer that with artists because they're an artist. They're not a dancer, a pro dancer. That's not their job. The backup dancer, that's their job. That's not Ateez's job. They can make all the mistakes they want. They can roll on the floor and sing if they want to. It's their choreo, their job. That's whatever, you know? So all that to say, yes, there are still some overlapping feedback elements that from the original to now I still see, but it's not a dance practice video. It's not like they posted it and say, hey, roast us. Hey, judge us. Hey, look and see how clean we are. They never said that. So, I mean, for me, I would say for just this being just some random full cam, it's pretty good, if I say so myself. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more in-depth analysis that I do of Ateez, I have that all over Patreon. I did recently, at this time of recording, I recently did an entire marathon of Ateez's entire discography, their dance practices, as well as most of their B-sides and some of their live performances. And I got to learn a lot about how the members operate together and as individuals. And so this has been really fun for me to be able to, now that we've had some distance and separation from Ateez, from what I've seen from them, I am seeing their comebacks and things like that, of course, but just more bite-sized than the huge amount that I used to glean on a daily basis for a whole month. So this was really nice to see and just be able to enjoy for what it is. And I don't really, I mean, like I've already mentioned, when I look at live performances, I typically come from a way more gracious lens than a let me put my thinking cap on and oh, that should have been better. Because when you think about it, it's in front of an audience, and that audience is not going to be doing what I'm doing, and that is okay. And they are there for a very different reason. And let it happen, you know. So, and this is one track out of 15. And this is just a random run through out of all of them. And so they probably have a better live equivalence where that doesn't happen between Seonghwa and Mingi. But at the end of the day, doesn't matter, because if they're Ateez and they get to live their life touring and doing what they love and spending time with their fans, and I think that's what everybody prefers anyway. So once again, I'm Jess. Thank you guys so much for the recommendation. This was really fun to watch, and I am excited to potentially look at more of these in the future. And once again, if you want to get in on all the bingeable analysis action, I have all of it on Patreon if it's not on YouTube, because like I said, I have reacted to all of it, like all of it. So once again, I'm Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.